You talking about competing against Dorian again?
Yeah.
You back? Oh no, I recall in Atlanta, Dorian asked me,
I asked him.
we're having a meal, and he says to me, Lee, you know how his personality. Lee, you know, he's a little bit dry sometimes. What do you think we go at it again? I said, Dorian, if you lost your mind, I said, I am going fishing. Forget getting on stage with you again. That was it. But you know, I heard a lot about Dorian prior to the '91 Olympia. And all this talk, I hadn't seen it, but I heard about him, and golly, man, he said, this guy's big, he got size just like you do, and da-da-da, so anyway, and then when I saw him for the first time in person, man, he was a monster, something that I'd never seen before, because I felt, you know, in the era in which I grew up in, I was blessed to come along at a time that had a chance to stand on the stage with Robbie Robertson, Roy Callender, Frank Zane, Muhammad McCoway, and Sergio Olivier. Please, I did not compete against Sergio Olivier. Sergio was guest posing. I just happened to be there on the stage with him that night, which was an awesome privilege. So I had a chance to see and catch the tail end of a very, very rewarding and magical era. But when I was standing there with Dorian and looking at him and knowing that I had, my whole vision was to develop a physique that was in line with a Arnold, a Robbie, a Lou, a Zane. That was my whole psyche when I went to work to train. And I felt I was that particular package. And I felt that as long as I represented that package with a polished presentation, that it would be hard to beat that, because that's what the industry was looking for during that era. When Dorian stepped on the stage, I said, oh my goodness, another one like me. And so I felt that I had to be at my very best in order to beat him. I knew that I was more seasoned when it came to my presentation than he was. So I had the ups on it as far as that. Then I also noted that wearing a 31-inch waist didn't hurt either. So at that particular time, I knew that beauty was in the eye of the beholder, which was the judges. I had no power over their decision at that particular time. I just knew I had to bring the best package that I possibly can to that event. And the chips would fall wherever they would. And if it was Dorian, then it was gonna be him. If it was me, it was gonna be me, but I knew it could have gone either other way, but I felt I had the ups on him because I was a little bit more experienced. But I didn't want to fight him again. That was enough fighting for Dorian.
Thank you, Lee. Dorian, your thoughts and recollections of going up against Lee Haney?
Lee Haney was Mr. Olympia when I first started training, you know, so to go and compete against Lee Haney was incredible. And I actually had to, psychologically, I had to change my point of view, because Lee Haney was Mr. Olympia. He's like my hero, you know, when I started training. And now I got to go and compete against the guy. So I had to change my point of view from, you know, Lee Haney, my hero, Mr. Olympia, to being another athlete that I'm going to compete against. So that was, you know, that was the first step. I remember at the contest, this is something that stuck in my mind because I kind of utilized this later on. I don't know if Lee's aware of this or if he's doing it on purpose or not, but anyway, it had an effect that we were in the pumping up room, we're pumping up and everything. Lee's pumping up, but he's got his tracksuit jacket on, and he's standing in front of me. I'm looking. This guy's back to me. I take off that tracksuit jacket. I'm like, oh shit. that was impressive. And it was great because it was almost like I think it was the only time when we had a two-man kind of showdown, you know. They usually bring out 3 at a time. It was just me and Lee Haney, you know, at the end of the contest there, man on man. So it was a great honor to beat Lee in one of the rounds. And as Lee said, you know, he was a seasoned professional. His posing routine, his presentation on stage and everything, he got that down. So I wasn't quite there at that point. So I was very happy to get second place.
Dorian, were you disappointed that Lee decided to retire that following year? Like, did you want the rematch? Did you want to beat the champ? Was that important to you?
Yeah, I was disappointed, but on the other hand, I mean, I absolutely understood his decision. You know, he had got the 8 Mr. Olympias, he got the record, you got this young, hungry guy coming up and snapping at his heels. You know, so I understood the decision, but I did. We had breakfast in Atlanta one day, and I'm like, come on, Lee, just one more time. He's like, no way.
All right, we got time for one more question, folks, and we're going to wrap.